the fair winds blow. Our home is where the waters flow. We'll show you what we've come to know on board while sailing wisdom.
Alright, so we are top balancing our batteries right now. So we got 4 power supplies to make this happen 4 times as fast, because this is a 16 cell battery. So it's 16 cells in series, and then each cell is actually 16 cells again in parallel. So it's a big battery. And we have the BMS. So I got all these little lines here. Each bar is an individual cell. So all we do is literally put a power supply, hook it up to one specific cell, and just charge it until that cell is full charge, which the charge that I'm doing is 3.62 volts. That's my target for top balancing. You can go up to 3.7 if you want, but it's more risk and not as much gain. So we're just doing 3.6. So I just literally go one at a time all the way through, which is why we have 4 of these things, because there's 16 of these to do. There's 16 per battery, and we have 5 batteries. It's gonna take a while. We get asked all the time, like, oh, what do you do if something goes wrong with the batteries, and like, how do you fix it? And the answer is, it's easy to fix because it's all there. You built it yourself, so you know how the parts go together. Fixing it sucks because that means that something broke, which in our case, got some corrosion issues. So this is the bottom battery, and it got wet somehow. So we have to figure out A, where the heck that water came from, and then B, what's going on here. So it's covered in tape. We're gonna peel the tape off, see what's going on, see what's corroded, see what we can do, and get it fixed, get it back up and running. It's pretty bad. Issue, we have spare cells so that we could pop them out, but I started counting and I went way over 20. Like pretty much half the battery is shot. And I can smell electrolyte, so I don't really feel safe continuing to use this one. Yeah, so options. One, we got half the battery is still good. We could hook up to the other half of the battery, or make the other half of the battery the other dinghy battery we have that's in the Pelican case. Other option, we have 4 hopefully good batteries. One of them's good because we just finished that one up. 3 more that I'm strongly believing are good, so we could just go with them. And then when we go back to visit family in April, I can build another one of these, but in a Pelican case. And honestly, doing this again, I would have done them all in Pelican cases. It's just we were trying to fit them in battery boxes we already had, and figured,
well, we can't afford all those.
Yeah, and the cost. This guy, do you want to just, for like right now, do you want to tackle this one now and then do the other ones?
It is safest to tackle that one as soon as possible.
Okay, sounds good. Lithium batteries are easy to fix. Yeah. So we're not going to fix this one. It's pretty bad. So we took out all the bad cells, which is about half the battery. Yep, we're just going to put it under the table for now. We'll put it in a locker, and we will deal with that one later. So we're going to hope and pray that having the other 4 batteries properly balanced and all set will be good enough. Now, so that way the other one doesn't have this happen to it, we're going to put the other one in a Pelican case and make it waterproof, because this is awful. Yeah, any future batteries we're building them in a way that's waterproof.
We're hauling out. It's happening, finally, and in order to do that, we need to go outside. So we're ready.
When you're lost and no one's there, and you wonder who even cares, oh, come back to your breath, don't drift away.
Okay, we made it. We are on the hard. Now, we got a couple things we need to do. One is sand, because, we really need the sand. Now, on our crossing, you know, lots of miles, lots of stuff happens. And right in here, we're having some issues. The paint has worn off, the gel coat's worn off, and we got some pitting in the hull. So I'm gonna sand that area like nice, like down to the fiberglass, and we're gonna patch that. And then in the back, we got a blister. Total Boat sent us some epoxy, their fairing compound epoxy. So we're gonna be using that to fill this bugger in the stem, and then the blisters in the stern. Being in the ICW, we pick up the lovely ICW stain, which is gross. You can see it starting to form right back here. So I tried a couple things to get rid of it. So a while back, Better Boat sent us this stuff. It's their boat soap, and it does nothing. Years ago, an old cruiser told me how to get the ICW mustache off your boat, and it is toilet bowl cleaner. It actually did a really good job. That is much less than what it was. And honestly, we're going back into the ICW, so we're gonna have the stain again. Next time we haul out, we'll use the toilet bowl cleaner again. If you do decide to use toilet bowl cleaner to clean your hull, know one thing, you are using bleach. Bleach will kill everything in the water, so don't do it if you're in the water, please. That's just, it's horrible for the water. All right, I sanded a couple key spots. While a gorgeous, super smooth bottom is really pretty to look at, on the hard, it's not sailing. And when you're sailing, no one really sees it and or cares. So, off we go, picking our battles. When we're back in the Chesapeake and yada yada, I do plan on stripping the entire bottom down, seeing what's going on in there, fairing it all, make it nice and smooth and just perfect. Right now, we're in Florida, we want to go to Georgia. You know, different priorities. Now it's time for tape.
Nice.
So Total Boat sent us this total fair to fill in those blisters that we have. Thankfully, old boat, really thick hull. The blisters were actually in a lot of fairing compound put in that back area for whatever reason. So not into the hull, so not structural. But anyway, so we're gonna mix these two parts up. It's really cool. You got a yellow and a blue. Literally mix them till they turn green. Slap them on, scrape them smooth, call it a day. Once it's set, we're gonna, you know, sand it a little, get it better. Not perfect. We're not going for perfect in this situation. So that's it. Now, I must say, this is my first time working with the Total Boat epoxy system. It is so much easier than West epoxy, the West system. West is, you have your can, your liquid, and you know, you mix the two liquids, and then you have to add powder to a certain level to get it up to like the consistency you want. You have a lot more control, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm really liking this Total Boat stuff. All right, so when I ordered our paint, I made a little bit of a mistake. So they didn't have much blue. So I ordered 1 can of blue, and the plan was to put that on the surface, last coat. I forgot that's the case because we have 3 cans of red and 1 can of black. So I guess what we were thinking was paint it all in red, many coats, and then blue on the top, like the boot stripe area, and then a black mural and all that. Now it's just gonna be a red bottom with a black mural because we used up all our blue. My bad. Mads, how do you like the current color?
Do you see the situation?
Yes. It's maroon.
It's nasty.
Yes. Yeah, so Maddie's...
This is just the undercoat. This is just the first coat, though. I mean...
Yeah, it'll end up being red.
Who cares what this coat looks like?
Yeah. But it'll end up being a red bottom. So she's going from blue to red.
Alright,
She's
stop
been
filming
blue
and help
forever.
me.
I'm sorry. This is how I get out of doing all the work. I'm holding the camera. Now I'm going to go film the birds. These are the birds.
knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside, heading for collision and denial. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors. Right. Moments pass, make this one count. Untied, you're so good at dragging yourself down. Why? Well, there ain't much time left to figure things out. Deep underneath all the laser, your doubts. There's a heart gone out of rhythm in despair. Held underwater, fine for air. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors around. You got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your fears bottled up inside, heading for collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die.
When I told my friends that we're coming to St. Augustine, first thing they said is Hazel's hot dog, spicy dogs. That's what we're doing.
All right, we are ready to go back into the water. Herby's painting the last bit of bottom paint where the jack stands were, and we're super excited to be moving on from St. Augustine. It was a great experience here, but it's time to go. Oasis Marina has been fantastic. It's the only boatyard in this area that will let you do your own work without charging you, so we had a really good experience here.
we got put in the water. He let us check, make sure that we're not leaking, shaft log, all that business. Well, things we check are make sure the shaft log's not leaking, bilge isn't filling with water. All right, we're good to go. Check we have thrust, and we leave. And that is where we are right now. So we're just making our way out with the ebbing tide, and we're just gonna go just past the inlet, anchor, and then just like regroup and be at peace in the water.
Let's see, we got pelicans, cormorants, seagulls. We became proud members of the OCC right before crossing the Atlantic in 2020, and we're gonna put up our flag because it's a great way to meet other people. They just see your OCC flag flying and they know that you're a fellow long-distance cruiser, and yeah, here it is.
So in case you're wondering, the starboard side of your boat is where you fly your signaling flags, like your courtesy flags, stuff like that. Your stern's where you put your ensign, and then the port shroud is where you fly your freak flag or whatever you want to put up. So for us, that's our OCC flag.
Not saying that the OCC are freaks.
No,
Just crazy people who like crossing oceans.
Flipped.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. A little trick we learned to fill your dinghy fast is a leaf blower with the rubber tippy thing. You just stick it right onto the valve and just hold it there. No pumping.
My gosh, where has this been all my life?
Close the valve, then you finish it with the pump. You have to do that. Almost perfect. But it gets like the first 2,000 pumps out of the way.
So we've anchored here in front of St. Augustine, directly in front of the fort, Castillo de Marcos, which is the oldest masonry fort in the continental US, and it was built by the Spanish when they came here and colonized St. Augustine, which is the oldest town in the US that has been consistently populated since its beginnings. This fort is over 315 years old, and it's a really cool thing to see it from the water.
Yes, Morty, we're going soon.
We're just gonna drop everything. So it's nighttime. We're safely anchored off of the fort in St. Augustine, and I'm gonna make dinner. But what's funny is I decided to make pasta, and the only pasta we have on the boat is this giant sack, which we got in Gibraltar. So we're still working on pasta that we got in Gibraltar for our crossing.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna shut down all the batteries in the boat and run the entire boat on just one battery. So this plan hopefully means we won't need to run the generator at all, because
Because we'll just be
Yeah.
charging with afternoon sun.
Okay, the plan's really simple. We come in on the incoming tide, get to like the halfway point, and then start riding out the ebb tide.
Thanks for watching this episode of Sailing Wisdom. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Rigging Doctor episode. And if you're interested in even more Rigging Doctor awesomeness, consider becoming a patron to see all of our extras. Can't wait to see you next time as you join us out here on the high seas.